الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. Allah is whom we praise. We praise Him and we thank Him and we seek refuge in Him from the evil of our own souls and the evil of our actions. Whomsoever He guides, none can misguide him. And whomsoever He leads astray, none can guide him to the truth. And I bear witness that there is no one worthy of worship but God alone, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His slave and messenger. O you who believe, be mindful of Allah as He should be minded, and do not die except as Muslims. O mankind, be mindful of your Lord who created you from one soul, and from that soul its mate, and from those two spread many men and many women. Be mindful of the wombs that gave birth to you, and be mindful of those that you ask your rights from, for He is ever watchful over you. O you who believe, be mindful of Allah and speak the truth. He will guide you to righteous deeds and forgive you of your sins. And whomsoever obeys Allah and His Messenger has achieved the greatest achievement. Many times in our lives, accomplishments, great accomplishments, life-changing accomplishments, accomplishments that change not only our lives but the lives of generations to come, seem out of reach. We think that in order for us to be able to do great, to be great, to live a life of greatness in the light of Allah's greatness, that we have to have a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of fame, a lot of something, but we don't think that we ourselves have it in ourselves. In the Fatih district of Istanbul is a masjid. This masjid is a testament that you don't need to have a lot of degrees. You don't need to have a lot of money. You don't need to have a lot of power to be able to make a change that affects not only your life, but the lives of thousands, if not millions, long after you're gone. This masjid was built by a man named Khairuddin Effendi. Khairuddin Effendi was a very simple man. He was a carpenter. And every day when he would leave his home, he would walk to his store or his shop so that he could work. And as he would stroll through the beautiful markets of Istanbul, he would see something that was enticing to him that he wanted to buy. He would see some fruit, and he would think, this would be really good right now, maybe I should eat it. And he would pick up that piece of fruit, and he would look at it, and he would say to himself, "Sanki yadim, ka'annani akalt." It's as if I've eaten. And then he would put it back on the stand, take the money, and put it in his pocket. Every single day he would pass by, see some type of wares, see some fruit, see some sweets, and he would pick it up and say, "Sanki yadim, it's as if I've eaten," and then take that money and put it in a special place at his home. He did this for years, until one day he had saved enough money to build an entire masjid. And he built that masjid there in the Fatih district of Istanbul. You can still go there today and pray in it. Frugality, knowing where your boundaries are, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a greater force in your heart than money can ever buy, can allow you to accomplish things that you could have never imagined. Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu was walking in the market of Medina, and he had a silver coin in his hand, and he was flipping it. And he was walking through the market looking at the wares, the food, and then he stopped at the meat stand. Someone was selling meat. And as he sat there and he flipped the coin and he was thinking of buying the meat, Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, "ما هذا يا جابر?" قال هذا درهم. إن اشتهيت شيئا اشتريته. This is a dirham, a silver coin. If I feel like buying something, I'll buy it. Umar said, Subhanallah, أو كلما اشتهيت اشتريت? Is it everything that you desire you go out and buy? ألا تخافوا قول الله تعالى أذهبتم طيباتكم في حياتكم الدنيا واستمتعتم بها? He said, don't you fear what Allah has said about this? That you have wasted away the good that we have given you in this lowly life and enjoyed yourselves. Having a budget, being able to manage your own money, and before being able to manage your own money, managing your own desires, managing your ability to function in society without the pressures of society, will allow you to save both time, money, as well as peace of mind. A woman once came to me, and she said to me, I have a lot of debt. So do I pay my zakat or do I pay my debt? I said, well, you pay your zakat. I'm sorry, you pay your debt first. And she said, but my debt is because I bought a lot of gold. I said, well, why did you buy all this gold? She said, I bought the gold to give to my daughter for her jahiz. Jahaz al-zafaf, right? In Arabic we say jahaz. In Urdu we say jahiz, right? A gift that you give to your daughter before she goes off on her wedding night. So, well, why did you buy them? Well, because it's normal for us in our culture to buy a lot of gold. So you're confused as to whether you pay zakat on the gold that you bought because you bought with debt, and now you're stuck. Do I pay my debts? Do I pay off my zakat? What do I do? The point being here, why does this dilemma come up? This dilemma comes up because we allow ourselves to be pressured into situations that don't allow us to accomplish what is best for ourselves and what is best for those around us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَ حَقَّهُ وَالْمِسْكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينِ وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. And give those that are closest to you their rights, and give as well to the poor and to the wayfarer, and do not waste. Do not be wasteful, because those that are wasteful are the brothers of Shaitan, and Shaitan was ungrateful to his Lord. Look at the pillars of Islam. Every single pillar of Islam, every single pillar of Islam is connected in some way or somehow, how you manage your time, how you manage your money, and more importantly, how you manage your resources. The most apparent of them is zakat. Before you pay zakat, what do you have to have? Money. And before you pay zakat, you not only have to have money, but you have to have savings. And those savings have to be with you for more than 1 year. But before you can even have money, you have to have what? Income. You have to have skills. You have to have abilities to earn. Hajj. You can't make Hajj unless you have zad wa rahila. You have the provisions and you have transport. And you can't have provisions and transport unless you have the income to possess those things. You can't even make salah. Why? Because in order for you to make salah, you must cover yourself. In order for you to cover yourself, you have to buy clothes. You wouldn't have this masjid here if it wasn't for the wise elders of this community who had decided to build a house from the houses of Allah here. And had decided to manage it so well that it's still standing until today, so that we can enjoy this beautiful edifice that's built here in Richardson, Texas. So you have to understand that every single thing you do counts towards those 5 pillars of Islam. From the objectives of the Sharia is حفظ المال, is protecting your wealth. المغيرة بن شعبة رضي الله تعالى عنه, he says, نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن القيل والقال وكثرة السؤال وإضاعة المال. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام forbade us from he said, she said. He forbade us from asking too many questions. And he forbade us from wasting away our wealth. So every single thing that you do, whether it's what you said, notice the connection between these two things. When you're speaking unnecessarily, when you're carrying stories and backbiting and carrying tales to other people. I heard that this person said that. I heard that this person said this. Not only are you wasting time, but you're wasting your breath. Because you're involved in things that don't concern you and won't bring about a benefit to you or anyone after you. And when you're asking too many questions, you're exerting or wasting away your mental capacity. Because the Prophet ﷺ wanted us to be people of action, not people that deliberated so much over minutiae that we become stuck where we are and we're unable to move forward. And then obviously, this all relates back to as well, wasting away of our wealth. Wasting away of our wealth. And wealth is something in Islam which is broader than just the money that we have, the property that we have. The Prophet ﷺ, he said to Abu Dharr, Ya Aba Dharr, أتحسب المال كثرة العرض أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Do you think that wealth is a lot of property, a lot of things? How many of us, if we went home right now, we could take our closet and we could divide it in half and say, I wear this all the time and this I wear never. And then we can take that half that we wear and we can say, this is the half that I like and this is the half that I don't. And we could probably give 3/4 of what we have away because we have accumulated stuff, things. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم أتحسب المال كثرة العرض. Do you think that wealth is a lot of things? إنما الغنى أو تحسب الغنى كثرة العرض. Do you think that wealth is lots of things? إنما الغنى غنى النفس إنما الغنى غنى القلب. The Prophet ﷺ said, wealth, richness, being rich, is richness of the heart. It's richness of the soul. Think about how you manage your personal resources. Think about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in your hands. Think about every single thing that you go to buy. Whether you go to the marketplace and you pick it up, or whether your finger is on the mouse while you're visiting Amazon.com and you've gotten, one button purchases activated and you're buying like crazy. Maybe we won't be like Khairuddin Effendi and walk in the marketplace, but we definitely are on our phones. We're on our computers. We're purchasing and consuming way too much more than we need. But if we can hold back ourselves and the evil of ourselves, the evil of our souls and the enticements of our souls, then we can accomplish things as great or greater than that great man that lived many years ago. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده الصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تسنى بسنتهم إلى يوم الدين. Once the Prophet ﷺ was sitting with his companions. The hadith is collected by Mundhiri in his Targheeb and his Hasan or Sahih, inshaAllah. The Prophet ﷺ was once sitting with his companions in the masjid, and he said, Halummu ilayya, halummu ilayya. Come over to me, come gather around me. So they came and they sat around the Prophet ﷺ. فَقَالَ هَذَا رَسُولُ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ Jibreel. This is the messenger of the Lord of the worlds, Gabriel, who has come and inspired my soul. نَفَثَ فِي رَوْعِ إِنَّهُ لَا تَمُوتُ نَفْسٌ حَتَّى تَسْتَكْمِلَ رِزْقَهَا وَإِنْ أَبْطَأَ عَلَيْهَا فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَجْمِلُوا فِي الطَّلَبِ وَلَا يَحْمِلَنَّكُمْ اسْتِبْطَاءُ الرِّزْقِ أَن تَأْخُذُوهُ بِمَعْصِيَةِ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنَالُ مَا عِندَهُ إِلَّا بِطَاعَتِهِ. He said, this is the messenger of the Lord of the worlds, Gabriel, who has come and inspired and breathed into my soul that not a single soul will die until it has taken all of its sustenance, even if its sustenance comes to it slowly. So be fearful of Allah, be mindful of Allah. وَأَجْمِلُوا فِي الطَّلَبِ and seek beautifully. And be mindful of Allah and seek beautifully. And do not let the slowness of your sustenance coming to you take you or carry you to disobey Allah. Because that which is with Allah is never sought except through His obedience. فَأَجْمِلُوا فِي الطَّلَبِ. This beautiful principle that the Prophet ﷺ is telling us about, of managing our actions, managing our resources, managing how we access the world around us to be able to obtain the rizq and the sustenance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. When we talk about ihsan, many times we talk about it in a solely spiritual sense. We think of ihsan as only our acts of worship. That the Prophet ﷺ in another hadith was asked by Jibreel, وَمَا الْإِحْسَانِ قَالَ أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. That you worship Allah as if you see Him, but even though you see Him not, know that He sees you. Many times we relate this only to our salah, but do we realize that this affects every single thing that we do? فَأَجْمِلُوا فِي الطَّلَبِ. Seek beautifully. Seek what you're after beautifully. Anything you do, whether it's while you're at work, if you own your own business, if you're serving your family, if you're volunteering at the masjid, whatever you're seeking, seek beautifully. Know that Allah sees you while you're doing it, even though you cannot see Him. It's amazing that we as human beings, we as Muslims, many times will say we worship Allah, whom we have never seen. But yet we deny the rights of those that Allah has entrusted with us. Allah has entrusted to each of us the care of our families. Allah has entrusted to us the care of our youth, the care of our elders, the care of our communities around us. And when I say community, I don't mean just the Muslim community, but the broader community as well. These are trusts from Allah. And so if we seek beautifully in trying to fulfill those trusts. This is the first principle that I can tell you today about managing one's resources and being able to accomplish anything with the proper intention and the help of Allah. Al-ihsan. To seek after Allah beautifully and seek everything that Allah has given you or that wants for you beautifully. The Prophet ﷺ had guided his companions to this principle. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was once in the masjid during his khilafah, and he saw a man humped over in the masjid, shrugging his shoulders and his head hanging down, and he was praying. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu alahu bidurra. He popped him with a stick that he had. And he said, "Ma hada? What are you doing?" He said, "I'm worshipping Allah." قال رضي الله تعالى عنه لا تماوت علينا دينا. Don't kill our religion for us. The Prophet ﷺ had not ordered us to do these type of things. Where do you work? He said, I don't have a job. I just stay here in the masjid and I worship all day. He said the Prophet ﷺ did not guide us to this. Go out to the market and find some work for yourselves. لا تماوت علينا ديننا. Don't kill our religion for us. Islam is deen wa dunya. Islam is our faith and engaging with life around us. الذي يخالط الناس ويصبر على أذاهم خير من الذي لا يخالط الناس ولا يصبر على أذاهم. He who mixes with the people and is patient with the harm they might bring is better than the one who does not, as he alayhi salatu wasalam had said. And Imam Muhammad ibn al-Hasan was asked once, لماذا لا تكتب كتابا في الزهد? Why won't you write a book about asceticism, spirituality? قال ولم أكتب وقد كتبت كتابا في البيوع. Why should I write when I've already written a book about transactions? Meaning that if you understand how to transact between yourself and the creation, as Allah has ordered you, then you will understand that every single thing that you do in life, whether it's in the masjid, in the marketplace, at your businesses, or at your home, is a transaction with Allah. Notice when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to us in the Quran, مَنْ يُقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا. Who will give a goodly loan to Allah? Which one of us can give Allah something that is not already His? But notice the psychology of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to us as. Even though riba is forbidden for us in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to us of giving a loan and giving us back more than what we gave. Why? Because Allah knows our nature as human beings, that we're always looking to gather. We're always looking to gather more. فَأَجْمِلُوا فِي الطَّلَبِ. So if you're going to gather things in this life, then seek beautifully. Secondly, if you're going to seek after things in this life, have a plan. The Prophet ﷺ قال لو كان لي مثل أحد ذهبا. If I had the entire amount of Mount Uhud as gold, I would not allow it to sit in my house for more than 3 nights, except that I had given it away all for God's sake. إلا شيء أو إلا شيء أرصده لدين. Except for something that I would save to pay off my debts. So even though you're seeking this life, even though you're charitable, make a plan and make sure that you have a budget and that you understand the resources you have access to and how you're going to spend them and what you can do with them if you just save that little bit in your life. And lastly, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ هَذِهِ الدُّنْيَا حُلْوَةٌ خَضِرًا. This life is verdant and green. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مُسْتَخْلِفَكُمْ فِيهَا. And God has placed you as stewards in this life. فَيَنْظُرَ كَيْفَ تَعْمَلُونَ. To see how you act. Realize that every single thing that you do, every single piece of fruit you pick up in the market, every single button that you click on that website, every time you put $1 or $5 or 10 or 100 in the donation box today as you're walking out, every single thing that you buy when you're out to eat lunch or to eat dinner or to provide for your family, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed that wealth with you as a trust, and He has made it enticing as a way to test us, to see how we will act. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ خَلَائِفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ لِنَنْظُرَ كَيْفَ تَعْمَلُونَ. And we made you generation after generation coming after them. And we placed you as stewards in the earth so that we can see how you would act. So if you go home today, if there's one thing that you do today after this khutbah, if there's one thing that you walk away with today after this khutbah, I want you to say to yourself, every single time you're enticed to do something, to buy something, to spend something, to say something, to possibly waste the resources, say to yourself, Sanki, it's as if I've eaten. If you want to say something, but you're not sure if that's going to be wasteful or not, say, it's as if I've said it. I don't need to say it. It's as if I've gone there. I don't need to go there. Think about every single action that you do before you do it. And inshallah ta'ala, that will be the first step to the greatest principle of managing your life and having everything in your life be a transaction between between you and Allah, and that is correcting the intention that you have in your heart, because the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. Every action is by intention, and every single one of you will have what you intended. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا يا رب العالمين. O Allah, forgive us of our sins and our transgressions and our actions, and make our feet firm, O Lord of the worlds. اللهم إنا ظلمنا أنفسنا ظلما كثيرا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. O Allah, we have wronged ourselves greatly, and if you do not forgive us and have mercy upon us, then we will truly be from those who have lost. اللهم اهدنا واهد أبناءنا وبناتنا وأزواجنا يا رب العالمين. اهد جيراننا يا رب العالمين. اهد زملائنا في العمل يا رب العالمين. اهدنا كلنا إلى الصراط المستقيم برحمتك يا عزيز يا كريم. برحمتك يا عزيز يا كريم. برحمتك يا عزيز يا كريم. Oh Allah, guide us and guide our sons and our daughters, and guide our spouses, and guide our friends, guide our neighbors, and guide our co-workers. Guide us all to the straight path through your mercy, O mighty, O generous. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور.